to everyone around. So they can create their paintings or paint from life and have great pleasure, because painting is a huge joy. I love it when everything around becomes more beautiful and better, when people are happy. I'm evolving in painting, using new techniques or methods, and also creating them myself. And I also learn a lot about the authors, the ones who lived before us and used various techniques. I choose oil for the reason that oil painting is closer to me and easier to convey what I want to convey to the viewer using oil paints. After all, the possibilities of oil paints don't overwhelm. I create original paintings and work on original techniques, inventing new plots, and I come up with interesting stories myself. Nature, both live and recorded music, inspire me greatly, as do photographs. The most stunning paintings by other artists, exhibitions, galleries, museums, all of it. Sculptures and animals also deeply inspire me. I exhibit in galleries, have a contract from a gallery, and also have my own gallery. My courses proceed all the best to adults, and absolutely anyone can engage in it. There are various courses, including live ones. There are masterclasses, and there are online ones. And you can watch online masterclasses from any device, anywhere in the world. About painting, oil painting, these are still lifes, portraits, landscapes, multi-layer painting, and greenhouses, palette knives, and much more. People study painting to connect with beauty. Creativity, of course. The most interesting thing for a person is to create something. Creativity is what completely captivates a person, and they immerse themselves in it and create their own worlds. I very much wish all students and artists to engage with painting to grow and develop. Feel this niche, make it kinder and more honest. Clean, bright, to have no negative works, only positive ones.
Hello, dear friends. My name is Olga Bazanova. With you is the painting studio of Olga Bazanova. Today we will paint bright, saturated, sunny poppies. I have a canvas 40 by 60. Here is titanium whitewash. This is cold pink, any color. This is Madder Lake rose red. This is cadmium red. This is yellow. This is cadmium yellow. Here's phthalocyanine green. Here I have grass green, indigo. This is Mars orange. I've got blue phthalocyanine here in a small amount, just a little bit. The smallest for this job is 30 by 40 canvas. The largest you can take is canvas, 70 by 110 centimeters. And we're at 50 by 70 centimeters now. Now I'm taking the thinner, and now on the thinner I'm going to work, but first we're going to go from stains with you. We're going to paint in an unusual way. I'm going to take cadmium red and this Madder Lake rose red, and we're going to start by deciding on the stain. where it's going to be. We're going to have it offset a little bit to the right, and it's quite high up in the painting, as you can see. So we make this spot, we go from the spot. This time I'm going to show you how to go from the middle shade of the spot to paint a beautiful flower. Next, on the far backgrounds, we have poppies as well. And here we have them starting almost from the middle, just below the middle of the canvas. We also make spots. It's just a construction brush. A little yellow. It's like an orange color. There's a couple of spots in the background. We did it from a spot. You see, filling in spots. Now we'll take another brush. The brush, maybe now I'll rinse it a little bit. I'll take the whitewash, I'll take the red cadmium and whitewash. And we start working from the distant plans with a thin layer of paint. Thin, small, we start working. And look, the whitewash is added here quite well. Such a bright, juicy spot on this side too. Whitewash and a little red, we've added that too. Now let's take grass green and whitewash on the brush. And let's start working with grass green and whitewash, also in a thin layer, laying the paint thinly. Combining the pink with a small amount of paint, respectively, with the green, it's a very thin layer of paint. Yellow, a little more green, a little more color. On this side and here, we add a little bit of blue phthalocyanine. And look, purple pink quinacridone and blue phthalocyanine will give a beautiful purple shade. Slightly start to add it only in small amounts. Look, in small, very small amounts. That is, you don't need a lot of color. Must be all that and a small amount of paint and a small amount of color. Whitewash purple. I advise you to write such a master class when you have already watched it, not live. Now just look at how I paint. You can do a part of the painting with me, the underpainting, and then already go to the painting when the master class will still be available. Yes, and you can even partially paint, not necessarily the whole painting, in the technique of alla prima. I mean, in one go. Bright areas, a little bit of that bluish color. Sometimes even lilacs and greens. Green and even a little indigo can be added to this part. And blue too. This is how we're doing the underpainting now. We add a little more red. It mixes with this shade. It turns out to be a good color, but the main task now is to cover the canvas. Even if we made a little mistake somewhere in the shade, it's okay, we'll work it out from above, but cover the canvas. Well, we've arranged some stains, yes. Now let's take a napkin, dip it in thinner, take whitewash, a little pink, well, more whitewash right on the napkin. And here in the distant plans, we have some flowers with which we will work with them in the background. That is, these are flowers on the background. A little bit of green phthalocyanine lemon, as if we pull the napkin down, as if it's like we're felting it. Up and down, and you get the feeling of such a blurred, distant plan. The leaves, you see, a little bit, a little bit. A little more thinner, green phthalocyanine. The yellow one, you see just a little bit, and on this side also a little bit. Now we have some kind of a sketch with you. We take a dry brush without paint, and like this. Without paint, dry brush. Without a lot of pressure, we'll introduce a little bit vertically, generalizing the background. See the details? Generalize the background. Now we need to make circles with you through the white and blue shade. More even white. Here, here, we make some circles. Set it up, spread it out. It's like this bokeh effect. It's called in photography. But I don't want to make it redundant to highlight it unnecessarily, this effect. I'm going to do a little bit now with the white and blue shades. Yeah, a little bit with the pink, that effect. The layering of one element on top of another. Circular movements like that. Just a little bit, you see, done. We should have a fairly blurred background. We take green, blue, a little indigo. Just a little bit, I'm adding a sense of depth. And that will be perfectly sufficient even. Now we're going back to the flowers. And I'll take a brush, which we have synthetic. And here at the moment, you see we have a beautiful dark bud behind the flower. Let's take whitewash of a slightly bluish shade. Okay, look, we're going to brush around this bud. I use a synthetic brush. It doesn't really matter what size it is. I use a flat synthetic brush. I have written number 10. In fact, it is number 8. See, so we did it. Now let's take a brush with you. Fan brush, synthetic fan brush, and faithful synthetic brush with thinner but without paint. And now even add a little bit of paint. We're making these fluffy things, see? The smaller the brush, the kind of better the fuzz. Now the dark one, we take green, indigo, and even, blue, a little bit of blue. I'm taking the synthetic brush again. The bud, I'm removing the extra paint here. And the fuzzies continue. In this bud, I'd really like to put a slightly curled petal, in this bud. I'll take cadmium red and I'll make a little petal in it, a little bit. Whitewash, red, even a little yellow. Now we move on to what we have been doing now the farthest plan. Why? Because here we have to work with our poppy. I take whitewash, a little bit of cadmium red, but whitewash is also important here. Here we start to work a little bit with the movement of the distant petal. I take whitewash, a small amount of blue phthalocyanine, in order to create cold shades here, directly on the red. You can imagine. On the red, we put such a cold white with a bluish tint. It gives us a sense of sunshine, a bright reflection of the sky small. Then there's traffic coming at us. We have petals that are quite dark, meaning we take here, for example, Madder Lake Rose with purple-pink quinacridone. It's one of the petal pieces bent. We depicted him just bent over here, once Madder Lake Rose. Then went up. There's a few more elements here. We can remove the excess paint. We'll take the red yellow. It's a coral color. Even with a little whitewash. Carefully, until the paint lies down. That's why I made so many movements, as I need the paint to lie down. Now the next movement we will go with you with the same thin brush at first and then with a fan. So there are a few elements going from the outside to the inside here, kind of like folds. Bright red, yellow, orange shades like that too. So what does a fan brush give us? The fan brush should be properly washed from green paint. Take it, wash a little bit, add cadmium red, we take pure enough color, and we take the color of cadmium red together with madder lake rose. Now I'm going to remove the extra lint, and it creates the structure of the poppy. It's three-dimensional. Now I'm taking yellow, for example. It's going to be sunnier here. Yellowish orange shades. This is the next piece of poppy. Which has a very bright, saturated orange color. We have it closer to us. And in the background here. Again, we take through such reds. And through darker shades, put the movement from top to bottom. Back to writing poppies again. So far, I realize it's only visible in kind of spots. It's not quite clear what is meant yet. But now at least one poppy is about to appear. Red. And we're going like this towards those reds. We take whitewash, pink. Now the whitewash has a bluish tint, even around the edge. For counterbalance, to create a sense of cold painterly elements. Whitewash, a little yellow and a little red. In general, try to thinner, not to get dirty. All the same, wiped, washed, wiped, took more paint, and do not get into the paint with dirty, as they say, brushes. That is, you will need to rinse only with a napkin. And when you rinse with a napkin, you will not have such difficulties, you will not face them anymore. Just a few elements. I'm just showing you in great detail, but it's a simple picture, but I'm showing you in detail so that you can do it easily. This movement, you see, it goes sideways. It's a wrapped petal and it's wrapped on us. When it is wrapped on us, you and I get two dark images, this at the wrapped part at the bottom, at the wrapped part in front of the light source itself at the top. Next, we take whitewash and a shade of blue. The whitewash is bright, clean, and on the very edge of the bend of our poppy. We get glares with you, only see, wipe every time. As soon as you wipe, you consequently have a clean, see what a clean stroke. It's a perfectly clean and dark shade we got here. Look, we've got one of the petals wrapped up. I'm going to explain it in great detail so that it's exactly right. Now look, this is the darkest part. We take some Madder Lake rose and a little bit of blue. And here we start to give it a dark cherry color. Now we take the reds and we take the reds from here to the side. To this dark one. By combining these different techniques, you get an amazing poppy later on. Look how interesting the texture is. This next one is purple. Why is it purple here? Because it is wrapped as if a leaf is wrapped here. We will wrap it now and show it in full beauty. But first I will go through all these moments, all the shades. Again, I'll give you the sun glare here. And on this one, cadmium red light. A little whitewash, cadmium red light. Whitewash is scarce, but red light cadmium should be plentiful. We've reached the bottom here and we have a petal on this side too. And the petal has a twisted curve in this place. I'm still making the wrapped leaf. See, it's still spotty, but there's no volume yet. We will definitely have it here now very soon. These movements with a soft brush. The cadmium is red light, as if shining through the petal. It's like everything here is so translucent. It's all glowing. It's framed by light on all sides. Whitewash, a small amount of blue phthalocyanine. I take a thin brush, a little thinner, began to take a brush, Madder Lake Rose Pink once again. I go over with Madder Lake Rose, take a small amount of blue phthalocyanine with Madder Lake Rose and took a smaller brush. Why did I use the blue phthalocyanine? To darken, to make this shade more cherry, also to make this bowl more contrasting. I'll also take cadmium red. I'll go around the edge. You can take ready-made cadmium orange with cadmium red, a very good combination, pure turns out, although we mixed it just before with yellow. Getting the same colors. Well, you can take ready-made, even faster we'll go painting. Here, red-orange shade, we throw a flower. We continue through reds, through bright, juicy shades to work with distant petals. Red-orange in sections in these, and again, bright, juicy shades, sunny. Orange, a little whitewash, and we get those nice, bright lines with you. The cadmium red will go on the petal, in the center of this petal, which is bent, and thus we emphasize the darkness. Continue working orange with red. We can create an edge. If it is suddenly difficult to paint this picture at once, so directly in the technique of alla prima, then it is possible to paint first the background and then on the dry to do everything else and draw details. Dry. It, the edge. There's a few highlights here you see. Now the black paint. Why don't we use indigo? Indigo, that'll work beautifully here. Poppies often have these dark spots in the center. I also take a little cadmium red and Madder Lake rose pink. I'll go over this area one more time to give a sense of transparency to the petal of this and reflex. I'll also take a little pink and add some pinkish white to the curve of the petal, thin strokes. Also, I'll take the Madder Lake rose, and here I'll Madder Lake rose to the center detail of the poppy. We're going to make fluffies with you. Before we make the fluffies, we have, you see in the far background, we've already basically done the poppies. They're blurred, they're not really visible, but we can add some softer transitions to them. More clean and soft transitions. This is the red, this is the orange, and this is the Madder Lake rose down, where we have the poppy in the far background. Only conditionally approximate this point we do. In the far background, it's as if we can see a blurry poppy with you. Very blurry, soft, and on this side. Now you and I need to make a vertical. The vertical is white and blue. White and blue from here as we lead, yes. That is from here down. We take the diluent again, white and blue. And once again, blue and white. In the middle, we take green phthalocyanine and yellow and make a bright green phthalocyanine and yellow. green phthalocyanine, and yellow. Take a fan brush, rinse it out, wipe it down. I take a little pink and a little white and neatly away from the center. Let's make these fluffies. A white and blue hue. So neatly created. It turns out these little fluffy things, we will finish them later because look, we will have a bend here. Just look, divide this part in half. And exactly on this half, we will make a bend of the stem. Which will have highlights and everything will be on it. Well, through a bright shade, greenish, it will go through all the flowers. It's just going to be a bud. It is not so important for us now because we need to make the distant plants first. And we have already outlined the distant plants. And we only need to work with this brush. You see, synthetic brush with this shade. Cadmium red and Madder Lake rose pink. That's how we work with those long-range plants. Now I'm going to take some pink. This is purple pink quinacridone. Okay, I'm going to bend it a little bit here. I'm going to take cadmium red again, and we get kind of the edge of this petal a little bit purple. I'm going to go back to orange. Just like above, and so neatly with an orange shade, here also with an orange shade added. Now we take this Madder Lake rose. And 2 strokes of thin, not too much coloring here. Fairly blurry, as you can see, a little bit of adding Madder Lake Rose Blue FC. What gives us a good contrasting element? I suggest that when you wipe the brush every time, then you have less blending. And plus you should, every time you should not only wipe the brush, but also take more thinner. The more thinner you use in the second coat, the easier the paint lies down. Well, and there is also a variation of always do on dry in a layered technique, which allows you to create a really clean, bright, saturated work. Because we went over the painting, yes, and then we can still go over it, yes, you see, to create even brighter shades of color dry. Look, I have now painted a poppy, but I can add brightness and richness of color after it is painted. But we have diluent, for example, a little bit weathered And so I can do this here, yes. Well, can you imagine how you can do it dry, how bright and juicy it is? Wrapped another leaf. Next is this element. See, this is so bright here, then we go with a darker shade. Long range plants, this is Madder Lake Rose, and again, we'll take a fan brush now. Madder Lake Rose, purple pink quinacridone, them. Very nice to liven up those stripes. Create movement, direction is beautiful. More Madder Lake Rose. Madder Lake Rose. Going sideways, so sideways, right sideways tassels. Orange, red. Red. We're laying the darker shades along the sheet movement from the sheet mounts to the outside. Basically, we work only with red shades if there is, for example, Madder Lake Rose or cold. You see a shade of pink even appears. The combination of cool and warm creates a sense of movement. In painting, it's a stunning effect, interesting. Next, cadmium red and orange on this piece of petal. Well, look, you're getting a little bit of stain. If the previous layer, you see I've got green paint, a little bit of stain. See what I'm doing? Another way of doing it, they took it, wiped it off a little bit with a napkin, and put the pure color down quietly. Most importantly, don't forget to wipe the brush before you put this bright, clean color on. Yes, that is, wash the brush to keep it clean. Well, dear friends, so far we have the first layer here drying. We haven't painted the picture yet. We're going to paint it and have a lot of fun doing it. I wanted to take a little creative break.
Dear friends, we together with Olga invite you to the course, How to Start Painting in Oil. If you have dreamed of learning to paint but did not know where to start, our course is for you. We offer quality and systematic training that will help you develop your talent and reach new heights in painting. With our step-by-step masterclasses, you will start painting much faster than with self-study. This course is for you if you are a beginner painter. Refresh your knowledge, improve your skills. We have gathered all the essentials an artist needs to learn, from how to mix paints to choosing an easel. We use a convenient and correct system of taking the course, which will allow you to systematize your knowledge and move at a comfortable speed. All your works Olga will check personally and give you valuable instructions that will help you improve your technique and learn a lot of new techniques and methods of writing. This course is guaranteed to help you if you want to know what the advantage of oil technique in painting is. do not know the basic laws of perspective and how to build a picture, do not understand how to mix the right color from the available paints, do not know how to do the construction of pencil on canvas, want to learn more than 20 techniques of brush and mastichin. What results will we get after the course? Understanding the basic painting techniques, you will be introduced to different types of brushes, paints, and how to apply paint to canvas, and learn how to work with color, tone, shading, and light shading to create realistic images. You will improve your drawing skills, learn to draw basic shapes and structures, and apply this knowledge to your painting through practice and feedback from the instructor and other students. You will be more confident in using your painting and drawing skills. At the end of the course, you will be able to create your own works of art based on the techniques you have learned. How will we achieve the outcome? The end result of a painting course for beginners can vary greatly depending on the level of diligence and talent of each student. However, our course is put together by a professional in oil painting so that all artists will be able to systematize their knowledge and apply it after the course. To achieve meaningful results, it is important to put enough time and effort into practicing and self-study. Friends, follow the link you have below the video of today's broadcast. You also have it in the chat room. Get acquainted in more detail with the course itself, read Olga's creative biography. And also on this site you can see examples of works that Olga herself has written. And now you can see them on your screen. Also on the site there are paintings that were painted by Olga's students. Now you can see them. Be sure to read the reviews that Olga's students have left. There are several of them here. And now we are moving on to the course program, How to Start Painting in Oil. The course program consists of several stages. Stage first. Here you will have your own personal glossary, that is, a list of terms with their definitions in the field of painting so that you can better understand this field. Also, course materials. This is all you will have in stage 1, the introduction stage. Moving on to stage 2, the practice stage. This is theory and practicing with pencil. Here you will learn what you need to choose an easel, what you need to choose paints, brushes, canvases, types of solvents and their applications, what varnishes are and why they are needed. Other related artist materials, basics of linear perspective, composition, and the rule of thirds. Next, pencil practice. We paint everyday objects, paint animals, paint objects of nature, practice draping, and it's a total of 53 hands-on workshops. Next, we learn how to mix paints. This is mixing simple colors, mixing shades, and combining colors. The techniques of working with brushes and mastichins. Here you will learn 10 techniques of work with brushes and 10 techniques of work with mastichin. The next stage is practice. We paint in oil the details of a seascape, elements of nature, fruits and vegetables, sun, moon, sky. Landscapes in oil. We will write spring, summer, autumn, winter landscapes. Still life in cold colors, still life in warm colors, still life a combination of warm and cold tones. So, in front of you are examples of paintings from the course, which we will write with you. The first subject, it is a spring landscape, summer landscape, autumn landscape. We will also paint a winter landscape together with you. Still life in warm colors. This is the construction of the composition and mixing of warm tones, work with tonality and highlights, the transfer of brightness of color. Still life in cold colors here, we also make a composition. Mixing of cold shades, work with tonality and highlights. Still life combination of warm and cold colors. Here we combine cold and warm colors, author's techniques, writing hydrangea. We will also write such a cat. Cat on the fence. Ways of writing the coat, you will learn the construction of the correct proportions of the torso of the cat. Pug. Construction of correct proportions of the dog's torso. Construction of the muzzle. Ways of writing the coat. This course is for those who want to understand the advantage of oil paints, learn the basic laws of perspective and how to build a picture, master the skill of sketching with a pencil, learn to mix shades of different complexity, practice your skills in different genres of painting. And now I'll tell you how you can enroll in the course. We have three packages. The first package is the minimum package. It's a non-refundable package with 9 detailed masterclasses on theory, 53 detailed masterclasses on practice, and you have access to the course forever. Also, good news, there is a discount on this package right now. While it used to cost $140, it's $74 today until midnight. The next package is the standard package, a package with feedback from our curator. Also, 9 detailed theory masterclasses, 53 detailed practice masterclasses. You also have access to the course forever. Technical support on the course you will have. Closed group infocontakte for discussion of works. Guarantee that at the end of the course you will independently write a picture and the curator will check your work and homework. The price without discount was previously $379 and today it is priced until midnight $183. And the next package is the ultimate package. It's a feedback package with Olga. That is, Olga will personally check your work and homework. You also get a certificate of completion when you complete this course. The price without the discount was $596, and it is $291 today until midnight. To join the course, click on the Buy Abroad button. And before you do that, you just need to decide on a membership package and a reminder that these discounted prices are valid today until midnight. And friends, if you still have any questions on how to join this course, please leave an application form. You need to enter your name, email address, phone number, click 2 check marks, and press the submit button. And then today, our managers will contact you, answer all your questions, and also help you with payments, if suddenly you have any difficulties with payments. I want to draw your attention to how you can still contact us. By phone number 881-333-8838. Email us at olgabazanova.art. You can write to us on WhatsApp and any social networks.
We go back to the subject, we take cadmium red. So we use a fan brush to create that far petal. There are Madder Lake Rose in the far background, Madder Lake Rose. The rusty distant backgrounds are soft. Yellowish green, sunny shades. Now back to the thin brush. A thin round brush, my thin round brush in this case is number 4. I start jumping all over the highlights. Same shade, blue-white. Lots of thinner. Very subtle. See, pink and orange, those shades. About the wrinkling, I think it'll work out for everyone. Wrinkled flowers will work out. Orange. I will now take a slightly darker shade, again, Madder Lake Rose. I have already literally dried a little bit of the first layer, as if the thinner has weathered, so the rest of the paint lies down just great. We continue with the greens. We start with white and blue shade. We also go all over the flower down, so we also take yellow green. The green phthalocyanine with yellow is very good here. I'd even, take the yellow one more and more thinner. By the way, if the paint, you see, does not lay down, there is a way. Take this area off, get a cotton swab. Well, why such excesses? Of course, yes, when you can do it dry. Well, if someone's friend can't wait to do it. A cotton swab, wipe with it. After all, I'm one of those people who can't wait for me to Yes, spell it out. So colorful. This stem is darker, and now we have another stem from here. And this one will go down here into this section. So here we can safely wipe off a piece of paint. Cover it with darker paint. You can see that we have a lighter core here. And here we have the detail of the poppy. Blue, a little bit of pink. Indigo, and even brown. The pink hue is still optional. Indigo. Here the stamens have bloomed like stamens, so it's the core. Poppy core. Here are the stamens, so they're off to the side, and there's the far side. Another one, for example. We imagine that a little bit we have worked with these areas here. And there we can add a little bit on the distant plans, slightly. And let's keep making these fluffy things. I'll take a whitewash, a little bluish tint, and neaten it away from the poppies. These flakes. A little more whitewash. You make these fluffy things, see? There's a little bit of it on the Mac too. It'll be more lively. You can see that kind of livened up, kind of brought a little bit to life. I also want to add some elements with palette knife. I love palette knife and palette knife work too, respectively. I'll take the orange one. Some cadmium, red and orange. Cadmium red light. This color is now orange. Yes, it has a reddish color to it. Gives me more brightness in areas where I really wanted to add shade. I should just rinse it off with a palette knife. I got paint all over it. We're going to wash him now. Look, you put a little bit of paint, not on the whole petal, but where you want it to be brighter. And you can stretch that color, you see? What does that do? First of all, the richness of the color. And secondly, this color already well generalizes some basic and emphasizes the main points. Yes, generalizes some things, that is, makes them as a whole. For example, if there are too many some small details, then generalization in this way directly helps. To take out in general a flower to make it more bright and juicy. Color adds. Juiciness of colors. It's getting a little bit taller. See, a little brighter and sunnier. There's a little bit there in the far background. Over here. Here. And here, for example. Now I want to add more yellowish green, bright. Because they'll add a sense of sunshine. And I'm not going to add them everywhere, just a little bit. A little bit on the background, literally a little bit, a little bit. I think you do not mind the sun on the picture and the excess paint dry brush, so pick up. We get a little more sun on the picture at the expense of this feeling of such. It's a little bit more of a pure color. And also, apart from that, I would like to add blue-white shades. In a small degree, of course, in a small, maybe even with a little bit of pink, a little bit of lilac. Pink. Such shades add a sense of light very well. Why? Because that's the color of the sky. And now I'm going to do a little bit with a dry brush, no paint, a clean brush. Adding, you see, a touch of freshness. The basic shades have been thrown on, the basic color spots have been made. They put in brightness too, a little more orange. On the far side. And such, you see shades. I added a variety of shades. That is, there is orange and yellow. We have only a spot on the photo, yes, but we want to make not only a spot, but we also want to make it a little more picturesque. A little bit more dark, cold shades. Also, the painting will give coolness and warmth. How they work beautifully with each other. A little bit of palette knife on the very edge. If somewhere you need the edge of the palette knife, it's like a separate brush. If you don't work with a palette knife, you can do the same thing with a brush. With a fine brush, and you can do all of these areas just straight away with a construction brush. Well, dear friends, I am waiting for you on the most beautiful course, the Big Flower course. The most beautiful works will be on this course. See you soon.